Hello and welcome to my channel, my video about Empyrion. My name is XCalber and I'm a crazy fella who does some odd stuff and builds some odd stuff. Yes, so XCalber's designer's challenge for March was to build a mining hover vessel. Now my submission is over there. That's the one. Oop. I said I'd do some crazy things, like, yeah, that's the one. Oh, bloody hell, done it again. Nope. There we go. F6. There we go. My bad. Now, I've only ever done one hover vessel before, and that is this one. Incidentally, by the way, I know the sound quality isn't that good. My bad. I'm working on it. Hopefully, next video should be up to scratch. But you're going to have to make do with my tinny, silly little voice, I'm afraid. So yes, this is the only mining HV I did before, and to be quite frank, it's not that good as a miner. It will mine, you just have to be careful how you do it, because these side bits here, and the top bit, in all honesty, get stuck quite a bit. Now there is movement, you know, you can chop it and chase some of these Gatlings around, and even some of these thrusters around, but there's only so much you can do. And I'm not prepared to sacrifice the shape of it to improve it. So, as a mining HV, it's dodo. However, I did do a version of this as a starting HV, and that works pretty well. So, I had a fair bit to learn. Now, in terms of, for those of you that have watched XCalber's Designers Challenge, you would have seen my entry, the Muncher. I'll get it out over here, which is, so this is my submission. This is what we ended up with. And what I want, oh Christ, there we go. Let's not start that again. F6, there we go. And I just want to go over my thought process in terms of how I built this. Because I have to say, I was pleasantly surprised that people seemed to like it as much as they did. And for those very few people who will probably ever see this video, and those who haven't actually done a submission to one of XCalber's Designers Challenge, do so. It's a learning curve, it's not a competition, it's all for fun, and you never know, you might get some tips from various people. You know, there's some good builders out there in a community, and they've, like Jeff XCalber himself, NMK, Celestical, Crazy Z, they've all inspired me over the year, well, 10 months I've been building. But yes, in terms of what did I actually build, what was my inspiration, or what was my original design concept, this was the Mungler. Yes, my crazy tier 3 POI hunter. Now, I like this one. This in turn was inspired by the Mangler. Just to get the full history of it. Here we go. Ooh, what's happened? Aha. Yep, it always does this. I don't know why. It takes a while for it to spawn in. But yeah, so the Muncher was inspired by the Mungler, and the Mungler was inspired by the Mangler. I'll try saying that 3 times quickly. So you can kind of see kind of what that is about. Kind of. This is a dead build, by the way. It's legacy now, but so I went from there to this, and I wanted to build something where It was all open-ended, but it wasn't connected to each other. So this entire got to wait first time this time. Excellent. So this entire section here, all of this bit up to these windows, is one particular section, and then this bit here, this side bit where the turret is, and these front bits are completely separate. They are not attached to it. I don't see that bit as being attached. I don't. Yeah, let's just ignore that. So, yeah, I wanted to build a hover mining vessel with that kind of design concept. So how did I get to that point? Well, the first thing I needed to do was take a look at 2 mining vessels which actually worked. So, XCalber's Auger and Zovia's Reaper, that was it, couldn't remember the name. And they both work well. I looked at how nippy they were, the placement of the drills, because I didn't get that right. So 2 different versions of drill placement, and they both worked perfectly well. And they are roughly the same size as well, so that gave me some kind of reference. So after that, because my first, and up to that point only miner, had been a dismal drilling failure, I needed to build myself a test, which was this poor unfortunate little hover. There we go. And it works. It does precisely what it needed to do, and that's just, okay, well, can I build something which works? Ignore looks, or it wasn't done for looks, it's just the bare basics, give me a concept I can work with. And as you can see, keeping with the Mangler and the Mungler, it's got an open cockpit, which is good. So that gave me something to work with. And that was good. That was my starting point. Now from there, bear with me. Some of these I can't move around, you see. Yes, there was. I forgot about that. There we go. Yes, this was the very next one. So you see, you can just about see it from this angle. That one there is the one we're just looking at. The drills are in, relatively speaking, the same place, and I'm basing this on the size of XCal's and Zovia's build there. But I just didn't like what I was doing. This is non-functional. It's not going to work. It hasn't moved since I started building it. I don't like any bit of it, to be honest. So I just kind of stopped. And it's something like I found when I build something, sometimes you get to a brick wall, and you've got a choice. Do I break that wall down and continue and end up with something I just love? Or is that wall so tall, so thick, that it's just not worth the effort? That was one of those. Oops, my bad. So I decided I'm going to scrap that. I'm going to start again. So, I went to this one. Again, it's open-ended. You can kind of see I'm playing around with some curves. Always a bad idea for me, that. You can kind of see a few more curves with that block and so forth. But again, I just wasn't feeling it. Now this bit, I have to say, there we go. This bit here isn't. Get rid of that block there. The thruster, and I don't know, just. Well, of course, I haven't got the blocks on me, but put the curve block on there, and that might not be a bad shape. And if you think about it, that's kind of part of the shape I ended up in on the Mungler. If we take a look at this bit here, you can kind of see it there. So you can see, even at this stage, I'm building stuff. I don't like it, I'm scrapping it, but I've built something where part of it I like, and it kind of sticks with me. So I've got that in my mind, but I've scrapped it. I don't like it. On to the next thing. Okay, so from there we go to this horrible little thing, and this is my first venture off of. I've actually gone with the concept. 3 separate things, not attached to each other in any way. These are, yes, actually they are. I think that those are half blocks, aren't they? I don't think they are. Yes, they are actually. Yes, they're half blocks. So it's all attached, I think, but I just don't like it. I got quite far with it. As you can see, the block is down there. I've never taken it anywhere, but I could actually take it out full spin, but I'm not going to, because it's got the generator and fuel tank. It's got all the thrusters, but I just don't like the shape. But these bits here, with those curves, I actually like that. And again, I take that and I stick it in my mind, and it ends up in the final build being roughly these bits here, because originally this bit was a curve exactly the same as that, but obviously I've changed it out since then, because this bit here went all the way down there like that. So again, I've built something, I don't like it. If I can find the bloody thing again, there we go. But I've scrapped it. It was just too big, it was too long. I just didn't like it. And by this point, I'd kind of, bear in mind, it's taken me quite, I can't build at the speed of Death Randall or T-Rex. It's kind of, they are something else. So I ended up building this one. So I've actually gone away from what I wanted to do. And I built this one. Now this one, I have to say, I think it does have promise. There's something there which could be done with it. I just like the way where the cockpit is, and I like the way that insets a bit there. I know that's a shield there, but I just like how it is. I like how it dips down. This bit, I like the piping there. I just like this bit basically. Doesn't really drill very well, but again, I just didn't feel it. Didn't really feel it, and I think what did it is this bit here. To fix this bit, I would have had to convert them to full blocks basically, and then I would have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks of flat on the bottom, and that just I just didn't want that. It wasn't the kind of build I wanted, so I stopped it. However, if somebody does want to take this and go forwards with it, by all means let me know. I'll give you the blueprint. Happy for someone to give it a go. I doubt anybody will, but there we go. So by this point I got disillusioned, because this was kind of my third attempt at a miner. It wasn't going too well, so I just go into complete wacky mode and I build this. And I have to say I love this. This is just great. I mean, look at this. Oh, no. Oh, yes. Hey. Hey. There's no RCS in this either. But Oh, does it move? Whoops, no. Hey. It actually moves faster sideways than it does left or right. 85, 85, 57, 47. It moves really well. It doesn't form any purpose at all. It's got no weapons, doesn't have any storage, doesn't have any drills. It's completely useless, but I love it. And you can kind of see what I was doing. I just had this idea again, open cockpit, hover with some piping, and I do that all the way down here. And then I thought, well, not a perfect place for you know, attach it to the engines. So I did. And I do a bit more piping to kind of attach it up, try and make it connected so, okay, there's fuel feeding into these pipes and so forth, blah blah blah. But it got to the point where I wanted to convert this into a miner, but I was getting stuck. So I stopped. And so I started on the Muncher. Now, this is the earliest version I've got. I don't have anything earlier than this anymore. The original version was exactly the same as this, but both side pieces were one block further in both directions. And this here you see is a full block. Well, it was originally a half block, like the final version over here. This section is a half block, and that section is a half block. Now, when you got two half blocks together and their cargo extensions, which is what these are, they actually count as being connected to each other. So the original version, I had these connected with that, but giving it the appearance, it was three separate entities, which was perfect. Now, this particular version, although it's a lot of extenders, I haven't that, you know, oh Christ, there we go. There we go. 219, yes. Yeah, it's, the problem is, although you can see there's a couple of minor changes, like that is not a pipe in the final version, it's a nice curved block like that. It's pretty much the same. I've done a couple of tweaks, but this entire section is essentially finished. Had to fiddle with the back a bit, I think, but that was it. But it doesn't drill, and it's a bit too far apart. In order to connect these container extensions with those, I would have had to have done something to move them together, and I liked this enough that I didn't want to change it. So I would have had to have done it in such a way which I couldn't think of. And I just felt it looked a bit odd, because I had this idea of, well, this here, you can't actually walk down the side and out like you can the Mungler. So that's why I increased it a bit. But it didn't work. It just didn't. So I put them back together again. Got bored, and then went and built the squiggler. If I can find a bloody thing. Alright, here we go. So this is a continuation of, I've taken this little beauty, I've taken that concept, and I've taken it to a full-blown conclusion, which is this little thing. Again, if I go down here, you can see it better here. You can see the hovers, you can see the little piping. This time they go to these little things, which I like it. You know, it's the extensions as well, which I've done that purposely for the texture. They don't all connect up. They used to, but I made some changes, so they didn't. It's a shame. The problem is with this, although I like it, and it actually moves better than the Muncher. If I'll show you. Well, I think it moves better anyway. It doesn't drill as much. It does have. This is on the workshop, but it's just not as good. It's not as polished as the Muncher. But it's a bit of fun. It's nice. And it's a special feature with this one because ejector seat. See if it works. Okay, not as much. Sometimes you go absolutely flying and it's great. Perfect for those who like broken legs. XCalber, don't use it. But yeah, I didn't like the. I like some of the texturing, like this bit here. That's a good texture on that. You know, it kind of made this bit for me, and I like this texturing here. You know, and I kind of like the shape, but there's just something about it. It doesn't quite sing to me. I like it enough to put it on the workshop, but I felt I could do better. So, that's where we get to the Muncher. But hey, this one. Now, the problem with this, again, imagine that is one block in, that is one block in. You don't have these drills here, as in there. The problem is, it didn't drill that very well. It was getting stuck up the top and down the bottom. Which meant I needed another drill. So I ended up being forced to connect the two sides together. This is before the back was on entirely, because as you can see over here, this is what the back eventually looked like. And it was pretty stuck because these are required for the pitch stuff, the pitch values. Oh yeah, pitch. So I ended up having to put those two on it. I came up with that kind of design, which is not touching. So I was quite happy with that. You know, it wasn't touching, so it was fine. The back was still on. I was stuck for a long time in terms of what to put on these bits. Now I put piping down. It seems to work, but that was just out of desperation, because when you got something like that, it doesn't look right. You need something else on top of it. So by putting in two bits of piping, it just felt a bit cheap. To be honest, it still does seem a bit cheap to me, but it works. I think does the trick, so I can live with that. This bottom one ended up having to go on as well, and from a drilling point of view, that worked. The problem was the back, because no matter what I did, I couldn't make the back work. I was happy with this. I was happy with this. This was dead ugly. And for the life of me, I couldn't find a way to keep that and keep this, because in here you've got the shield, and you've got some RCS units which is needed, and of course you've got those 4 thrusters. Okay, 5 thrusters. So I couldn't really do. I couldn't change this. It was either changing this whole bit here or putting it back on. So I ended up having to put it back on, and that for me kind of connecting that, I was disappointed. So if you imagine the stage, if you bear with me a second. There we go. If you imagine this, because this was the last bit. It just doesn't work, does it? It's nah, don't like it at all like that. And again, I didn't want to go changing anything, but nothing was working. Plus, I got those thrusters as well, which I can't really cover. Well, I actually do cover one of those, but if I put it back on, there we go. I do know this kind of covers that thruster. So if they bring in thruster blocking, I'll have to move that thruster down here, which is okay. I can live with that really, in all honesty. I think. Or not. I don't know. I'll have to work something out, won't I? But anyway. So that was the last piece of it really, and I think it looks okay. I think it looks, just changing the size of the pipes here, it works. So the shaping, I'm actually okay with the final result, but I am disappointed I didn't really achieve what I set out to do. And hello puss. Go over here. There we go. I didn't achieve something like the Mungler because everything is attached to everything. Because even though it looks like there's a hole here, the game doesn't see it as a hole because that extension is connected to that one. In terms of the color, I loved this gold color in terms of the texture. There we go. That's the texture I'm using. In terms of, if you're interested, that's the actual, type those bits in and hey, you'll have my awesome little gold color. So I like the color, but I can't stand the texturing, to be honest. I like these bits here. I mean, these, you can tell the cargo extenders, and I think it works nice in here. I'm happy with the, I'm happy with the whole basically, with this texturing, so that's fine, and I think I can live with that. But the rest of the texturing on the outside, I don't know. I just feel that if I gave this to NMK 111 or Crazy Z or Celestical or Jeff or half a dozen other people, they would make this so much better than I ever could. So I like it. I kind of like it, but there's a few things I'm a bit disappointed with. It didn't quite turn out how I wanted it to. It's a shame about the back. I didn't really want it to be connected to the middle bit, but I would have had to have changed the sides quite a bit as a result, and I just didn't really want to do that in all honesty. So there we go. I did have a think actually. If I take this section here, the entire section, above and below, this bit here, have the concept of a hole like this, but use that bit as the start of an SV. That might be interesting. So I might have a go at doing that. I'm not sure. It certainly won't be my next project. I've still got more projects to do. Haven't finished doing that one yet. That's my POI. That's going to be a challenge. Haven't quite finished that one either. I'm having difficulty texturing this one in all honesty. I haven't even started the insides yet. I've been trying to get the outside sorted. I don't know whether to just kind of leave it like that. It's everything I do in texture wise just makes it look even more of a face. It's like I'm desperately fighting a battle and losing miserably. But it's a nice build. I like the shape, but texturing it is a pain in the ass. I think I could do with a lesson in texturing, to be quite honest, because that's impossible. Either that or I should just try and get someone else to texture stuff for me. I just do the shaping. That'd be nice. So yes, there we go. That shows my thought process of how the Mungler came about. Hope you found this interesting. If you didn't, my bad. But then you probably haven't got to this point. For those few of you who watched it all the way, much appreciated. Crazy world we're living in at the moment, so stay safe. Keep to whatever your government is telling you. It's just not worth it. I've got a cousin who's a consultant in a hospital. So my thoughts are with her and the doctors and so forth. I wouldn't like to be in their shoes at the moment, but stay safe, have fun, and keep building. See ya.